have a word for you today. I want to tell you that the word I have for you today is a seasonal word. And now some people, when you hear seasonal word in our humanity, in our humanness, we hear season and we think winter, summer, spring, fall. You don't understand that biblically, when we talk about seasons, we're not talking about the change in the weather. We're talking about whether there's a change. Come on, somebody. We're not talking about the change in the weather. We're talking about whether or not there is a change. And what you're about to experience right now is a season change. Whether or not you have changed from the last time you had an encounter with God until now, whether or not you have changed from the last enemy you were fighting until now, whether or not you have learned to bob and weave, whether or not you have learned to adapt and change, whether or not, come on, somebody, we're not talking about snow. We're not talking about inclement weather. We're not talking about storms and cold. Come on, I'm talking about whether or not you have learned or not. Whether or not you have learned, are you in a different season of your life today? Are you older than you were before? Are you more mature? Have you gotten over some things God has been trying to get you to get over for some time now? Are you still holding on? Are you still suffering over crayons that got broken in third grade? Or are you now graduating to a part in your life where the things that used to hurt you, the things that used to bother you, the stress that used to overtake you, the problems that used to define you, have you now realized it's over now? If you got picked on enough, something on the inside of you would say, look, it's either you or me. I am sick of being sick. I'm tired of being tired. You decide for yourself. One day, it only takes one day. You decide for yourself that the resolution that is going to be required to end this problem is going to be worth the solution. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Look, I'm either going to get me some black eyes. I'm finna get my wig snatched. I'm about to get scratched up. Whatever the issue is, it is going to be worth it to end this situation. It's going to be worth it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of every time I come into the room, you there mean mugging me and you leaning over to whisper, and you might not even be talking about me, but I think you talking about me. And that's a problem for me. I got a problem with somebody who makes me think they're talking about me, who are living rent free in my mind. I'm sick of it. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize later, but today I'm going to knock you out because I think that you are a problem for me. I think that you're a problem for me. And a lot of times when we have these issues and we are determined to end them, 9 out of 10 times, the problem is not even the enemy. It's not the fact that she is looking at me and I'm looking at her and I think she's talking about me. That's not the problem. The problem is what I think she thinks when she sees me. That's the problem. The problem is what I think the enemy is thinking when they see me. Most of our enemies are our enemies because we believe that the thing that I don't like about me is the same thing they don't like about me, when in fact, most of our enemies are our enemies, not because of our weaknesses, not because of our failures, not because of our flaws, but because of our strengths. How do you sit there with a heart that is beating entirely on the power of God and you not give God the glory? Let everything that has breath praise ye the Lord. These light afflictions are not even worthy to be compared to those things that God is about to do in you. That thing that you think is the biggest failure That thing about you that you think is the worst thing about you is what God is going to use to give you the victory. He's going to use that thing that you hate most about yourself. He's going to use that thing to give you your biggest victory. He wants to see you win with it. He wants to see you win with the thing that you think is the worst thing about you. Gideon thought that because he had an enemy, because he had to fight, because he had to struggle, because he always seemed to have to do more than other people had to do. Come on, Terry B. Because he always had to fight for it, because he always had to struggle for it, because he always had to swim against the current. God was going to use that very thing that he thought God gave him as a pain, as a problem. God is going to use that thing as his promise to defeat the enemy. That thing that you think is the one thing that you wish you didn't have, Paul. Come on, Paul. Come on. I asked the Lord 3 times to take this thing from me, because if I have to continue to walk around with this thorn in my side, I'm not going to preach right. I'm not going to have disciples. I'm not going to deliver. Come on, God, if you would just get rid of this thorn in my flesh, then I would be able to do more. I would be able to give more. If you would just take away the fact that I'm broke and I don't have no money and I don't have no job and if you would take that away, then I would be able to give more and do more and have more. And God is saying to you today, my grace is sufficient. With that thorn, with that issue, with that struggle, my grace is sufficient. Now you're going to win. You're going to win with less. You're going to win with not as much as your neighbors. You're going to win using far less, subpar equipment. Stuff that you had to borrow, stuff that you had to go and get a loan for, stuff that you had to, that stuff that you think is going to be to your detriment is going to be what I determine to use for you to win. That is what you're going to win with. You're going to win with your limp. You're going to win with one hand tied behind your back. You're going to win with that rag and those stones. You're going to do more with less.